Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a little dose of reality.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Molloy, and I appreciate all of you joining the show tonight. Make sure when you're coming into the chat that you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, whatever platform you're at, first off, come over here to the YouTube channel and hit that like button. If you're new, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors when you hit that bell down there. I see we got Only Read Survivors in here. Cat for Life is in here. Appreciate y'all. We got a great show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got a really good all-star cast here. First off, we got Curtis from Ace Per Head. Curtis, how you doing, man?
I'm always glad to be on with you. I got Sammy over here. I'm getting to meet Bobby for the first time, so this is a win-win-win.
That's
Looking
good.
forward
That's
to it
good,
as
man.
always, Steve.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to have you on, man. I'm glad to have you on always. Tell us what you got going on over there at your channel, Ace Per Head.
I'm trying to get my act straight and get a schedule over here, but I'm basically grinding out film, man. I just basically did a breakdown of what the Miami Dolphins offense is going to kind of morph into without Hill and what the defenses we're going to be facing are going to morph into. I don't know 100%, but it seems rational. So I did that. I did a total team breakdown of the analytics. I'm doing my thing as much as my old body can, as much stuff I can feed it to keep it going. So, I'm doing my thing.
All right, that's good stuff. And we'll get to that as the show progresses. We'll get to that list that you have, and we'll go over the teams that the Dolphins are going to be facing and how the offense is going to adjust, defense, and so forth. We got Sammy from Fins TV. Sammy, how you doing, brother? And tell us what you got going on over there at your channel.
Well, at least the Dolphins got the first win because I had to change the motto of the show, the ending the show. I used to go when I went to Miami talking Super Bowl. Now I had to change it to at least we have each other because at least we have each other because of fan base. Because man, those Dolphins, even when they win, they lose. What can I tell you? One on Fizz TV last night, we had Curtis, was a great time with the Fizz TV crew, and also Jason Sardi and Rainey. And tomorrow night on FTSN, we're gonna talk the preview of the game against the Carolina Panthers with our friend Adrian Rainey.
Great. Sounds great. Sounds great. Bobby, we got Bobby Melendez from the Fins Talk Sports Network, founder, chief cook, and bottle washer. Bobby, what you got going on in this great, fine network?
Man, everything and elsewhere. No, a lot of good stuff. Obviously, of course, Dolphins coverage, never ending, never stopping here with Real Talk Fins Talk, of course. As Sammy brought up, Fins TV Plus tomorrow on Thursday. We got post-game and pre-game this weekend. Usually Fitz Talk today on Saturday, but I'm out of town this weekend. I'm actually going to see my brother up in Indianapolis. He's performing for Heartbreak Hotel. He's Elvis Presley at Indianapolis. So yeah, man, he's killing it there. So I'm going to take I'm going to drive up there with my son, make like a guy's trip. The girls are staying, and so we're going to go, and we'll be fun. And so I'm going to take the weekend. I might pop in maybe for pre-game, post-game, maybe just a hello, but I'm officially, I guess, off the books finally, after I don't know how long I've been on the channel doing all this stuff, but I'm very excited. And of course, we got baseball talk that's going on right now with Fitzstanza and Russ. They're talking playoff baseball. Of course, the Marlins are out. They did eliminate the Mets, so that was cool. I know Russ Morgan, who's the host of On Deck, he was livid last night, texted me about his Yankees coughing up the ninth inning there. So that's going on now, but very excited to be on with you guys, of course, with Sammy and you, Steve, and then finally on with Curtis, who's, I've always heard a lot about and I've seen before, so I'm excited to be talking with him some Dolphins football today.
Thank you.
All right. So before we get started, guys, just remember, we may not agree on everything Miami Dolphins, but there's one thing we can agree on. We are all Dolphins.
That's right.
So with that, we got a bit of good news this evening for a change. The Miami Dolphins beat the New York Jets down at the Hard Rock Stadium 27-21. We came out of that with a win, but we came out of it with Tyreek Hill hurt, dislocated knee, tore all his ligaments in his knee. So now it's going to be life without Tyreek for the Miami Dolphins football team. Curtis, I'm going to start with you. How is that going to look without playing with Tyreek? How is this offense going to evolve?
The reality is he was going next year. So this is ripping the Band-Aid off early. We get an early show. I'm sure they want him for the rest of the year to try to salvage what they could from the season. When you Tyreek is an all-time great talent. You're pulling him off with Waddle. Those two comboing create leverage that very, 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 if ever, have seen. And McDaniel's offense, the way he does everything, is based on this leverage. And once you pull Tyreek out, there is a strong drop to Waddle. Not to say Waddle is, chopped liver, but he's just not Hill. Hill can move. He's faster. He can zigzag. So when you pull him out, basically what you saw is that teams, they just started playing too high coverage and sometimes cover three, because the goal was to take the top and control it. This way we couldn't get our quick hits. But now that Hill's out, that leverage gets pulled from one side. You're still going to get leverage from Waddle, but you can now morph into cover one. And when you're in cover one, you could start changing that leverage, bringing guys down at the box to aid with those edge runs, to aid with those pocket posts and the run game. And, I like Tua. I don't think he's the greatest thing forever. I think you could win with him, but he can take those deep outs. And without Hill in there, yes, Waddle could do some stuff, but when you go into that cover one and you got one guy who could burn you over the top and that's it, you could bring that cornerback and get up in his face, jam him off the line and release. And you could take some of these other guys and drop to other zones. You can really rotate the zones with only one guy over the top. And so it's going to force Miami to grow, McDaniel to grow. It's going to force us to run the football. And it's going to force us to really find other ways to win, like what we did the other night with the legitimate play action and the play action rollout and the boots. That's one way to do it. Waddle is clearly a piece. Waddle will be a piece, but he's going to be the focus. So it's going to be Waddle, Achane, and then Washington with maybe a little dose of Westbrook. But it's going to take us playing a lot more small ball. And does McDaniel have the intestinal fortitude to stay with it when it's not all happy and sunshine and you're getting big plays every play? So we'll see.
Yeah, you make some great points there. We're going to have to utilize the running game more, and maybe go back to the RPO that Tua was playing in his first couple of years with Flores, and he did win. He did win with that, but
it's a good point. I didn't really think we could, but you know what? I'm going to start considering that.
Yeah, we did win with that, but we had a better defense too, and our defense is really, really,
and
really
a better OC to me. Not in 21. We had the 3 OCs.
Right. Yeah, we had the 3 OCs. Right. I remember
the 3 amigos.
Yep. Finn, Sammy, tell us what do you think? How do you think this offense is going to evolve? And what's your opinion on the game last week? You're on mute.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I put a Steve Haddad with the mute button.
That's it. Your time is up. No, I'm only kidding. Only kidding. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I saw the thumbnail that probably Bobby put together, and I seen a lot of the Jets didn't lose the Dolphins didn't win the game. The Jets lost the game, and I take offense to that, because you know what, they did everything we asked them to do. They look more prepared. The game plan was better. They ran the ball. They didn't have any takeovers, and they did the takeovers. The turnovers they took away. So they did everything we wanted them to do. They found a way to win the game. It was closer than what should have been, but they found a way to win the game. So I think the Dolphins won the game. I don't think the Jets lost the game, because they're not a good offense for sure. They're not a good team right now. But tell that to the Buccaneers, who were basically scared out of their pants the other day when they almost beat the Buccaneers. So anything can happen.
Yeah.
So I think the Dolphins did everything they had to do to prove themselves. I think the Dolphins found a way to win the game. I think they took it away from the Jets, not the other way around. I don't think that was they just, of course, had a horrible game, but that doesn't mean that those things didn't happen because the Dolphins found a way to make fumbles and take the ball away. So I'm very happy with the way they did. They performed very well. On the offense right now, I'm not a huge fan of addition by subtraction, but I've seen it before. Maybe to not having Tyreek over there trying to ask him for the ball every single time in the huddle, politicking for the ball. Maybe it's good for Tua. I don't know. Maybe in some kind of way it helps them out. It's hard to believe that the play that was the number one play, the number one play in the NFL a couple of years ago, leaving the Dolphins for the rest of the season, maybe forever, the Dolphins are going to be better. That's absolutely stupid. I'm not saying that. But, maybe a better balance is find a way to run the ball. Maybe it's a different offense. That maybe they can control the tempo better, because the problem is that when you score too fast, the defense is out there always. So they had to find a way to control the game better, maybe run the ball better. And maybe with Tyreek out of the picture, they can find a way to become a better offense. We'll see.
Yeah. You make some great points too, Sammy. I agree. I think it's gonna have to force Mike McDaniel, maybe not, but I'm thinking that it's gonna have to force him into primarily using the running game, that RPO, like Curtis was talking about and we were just talking about, and maybe this is a good thing, and he wasn't going to be here next year anyway. At least I don't think he was. But so it could be a good thing. And Bobby, your opinion, how do you feel this offense is going to evolve with life without Tyreek? And what is your opinion about the game with the Jets? Do you think it was we just played a bad team and they had 13 penalties and 3 turnovers? That's the reason why we won? Or do you think McDaniel, like Sammy said, he had a prepared really good game plan for this New York Jets football team?
I think honestly, both sides can be true. And I think that is the case with this football game, because the Jets did play terrible and they gave Miami every opportunity to win. Whether, again, now the Dolphins defense was not good, has not been good, but they did have some good moments in this game, right? I mean, the fumble, was it Jack Jones right before the cross, the touchdown? I mean, there were a lot of good plays, or there were some good moments by Miami's defense, but Miami's defense wasn't great. It's still, I mean, they made Justin Fields look like Mike Vick out there. I mean, it was crazy. So, yes, I think both points could be true. Yes, Miami won because because the Jets were terrible. They sucked. And Miami won because they played a winning game plan against a team like the Jets. The Dolphins show that with that game plan, the way they did it, they show that they could beat those type of teams. You're supposed to win those football games. If Miami would have lost that game, then it would have been nuclear. It would have been terrible, right? I mean, this was a game Miami should have won because, and because of all the points that Sammy and Curtis and everyone brought up. I mean, the Dolphins did everything they were supposed to do to win, and the Jets gave you every reason to win. Miami could have easily choked that up. Tua probably could have thrown an interception at the end of the game and opened it up. And oh my God, now we're having a whole other conversation. We're 0-4 and burn it all down. Except no, Miami did its job. They won the football game. They did everything they needed to do. Was it perfect? No. Is it winning football against Baltimore or Buffalo or Washington or whatever? No, absolutely not. But against the bad teams, sure. Yeah, now we could say they're Curtis, Sammy, Steve, before a game, and we're going against a bad team like Carolina, we could go, hey, we should be comfortable saying a win, right? Because if we would have lost this football game, we would have looked at Carolina and go, that's a loss. We're done. But now we have just a little bit of hope. We got some prayer. The rosary worked, So, so now Tyreek Hill, there is no doubt that the Dolphins are a better football team with Tyreek Hill on the field. We know what Tyreek Hill is. When everything is going right, he is the best. you could argue the top wide receiver in football. We know what he does. Even when doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's an amazing decoy. But last year, going into this year, even though he was having a good game on Monday night, he wasn't your lead dog. It's always been Achin. It's always been Achin. And so, honestly, I'm thinking of it on another view, and I'm not taking it away from Tyreek. I'm not saying that, we're going to be better. No, because when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's the decoy. But I do think this could open up Miami, because Curtis just brought up, Curtis said it before the show. You said it now. More than likely, Tyreek was gone after this season. We're going to have to see what it's going to be like post that anyway. So now this is an opportunity to get to see that now, especially when you're in a 1-3 hole. Now the opportunity opens up that can Jalen Waddle be the guy we saw before Tyreek Hill? That 1 year, but when we got Tyreek, it was 1A, 1B, and then Jalen Waddle kind of fell behind everybody. He kind of disappeared. Like, where's Waddle? What happened? Now we get to see him in that role. Now we get to see Malik Washington more in that role. And then Darren, the appearance of Darren Waller, where I did not expect to see what I saw. It wasn't crazy numbers, but 2 very impressive touchdowns. So
yep.
I think the silver lining in the loss of Tyreek is that we get to see now, like maybe, just maybe, we'll get to see some progression reads and openings of from Tua to go, okay, I'm not just going to look at Tyreek, because we know he looks at HN, dumps it off. I know that drives Evan crazy, but maybe, just maybe now we'll go, okay, Waddle, Malik, HN, HN, Tyreek, Darren Waller, maybe we'll get that Jonnu Smith, HN type of offense we got last year that at one point was very successful for Miami. So I'm not, obviously, yes, it sucks that we lose Tyreek Hill, but I think it does open up an opportunity for this offense to do to try out new things.
Yeah. Very good points, Bobby. I agree. So and you speak of Carolina, so we'll go right into the Carolina game. Carolina has been playing hot and cold, right?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear, Curtis. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, now. Okay.
Okay, good. So Carolina's been kind of hot and cold, right? Am I right? They've been kind of playing hot and cold. So we've got to play them next week on Sunday, right? What do you think? How do you think we're going to play this team? You think we're going to do the same RPO, the same kind of game plan that we had against the Jets, or what are the personnel matchups like? Curtis, I'll start with you.
Well, they're a lot like the Jets. When you really look them over, they've got 1 D tackle. They've got, the offensive line of the Jets is much, much better, but they've got a sketchy quarterback. They've got 1 target as a receiver. The cornerback group's not bad. They got McMillan as a receiver. I like him. Leggett hasn't panned out. Renfro is old. Hubbard's not a bad runner. But they're missing Robert Hunt, which is big, but they got Moton, who's good.
Yeah.
But really, it's just Brown, 2 terrible linebackers, poor safeties, but Horn's pretty good at corner. Jackson's pretty good at corner. And Smith-Wade's not bad. So they got a better cover group, a little bit less linebacker group. I'd say a little bit better quarterback, but it's kind of all the same, So if they flash between flopping like the Jets. They were terrible. They had a similar game against the Patriots last week and blown out. But they go from hot and cold. So it's not going to be a weather that we're not conducive with. It's not going to be anything out of the ordinary. They can sort of run the football. I just really don't trust what the heck's his name? Oh, Young. I'm not a big fan of Young yet. He's hot and cold. Short. He's 5'11". We make fun of Tua. This guy's got to be on high heels. So,
yeah,
we can get after them with our defensive front if we bring the blitz. Right. They can beat us. Don't get me wrong. But when you got Waddle. You might not like Tua, but he's a better quarterback than Young. Achan, Waller. I'd say Washington's good. You got Phillips, Chubb, who's been playing pretty decent. You're supposed to have Chop. You got Sealy. You got Brooks. You got Minka. You got a little bit more talent, especially pop talent than them. You should win this game. Will we? Depends on who wets the bed. Wets the bed more, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And if I remember correctly, Bobby, you and Finstanza, Evan were down there last year to watch the Carolina game, right? In Miami? Was it
2
last
years,
year?
2 seasons back. 2 seasons.
Okay,
I believe.
so
Yeah.
okay, my bad. So it was 2 seasons back. But nonetheless, if we recall, Carolina took a 14-point lead.
Yeah, 2. Yeah. Mhm.
Right? They took a 14-point lead, and that was down in Hard Rock Stadium. So is this defense as good or better than the defense we had 2 years ago? That's the question.
I don't know. I don't think that's a question. I think this defense is terrible. I think it's a lot. You know, I mean, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but again, I was hyped on this defensive line. Yeah, I was concerned with the secondary before the draft. You know, there was a lot of, you know, again, if you look at Tyler Warren, you go, damn, yeah, that could have been a great pick. You know, but a lot of people were throwing all these other names at him. Of course, I was like, even before we traded Jalen Ramsey, I'm like, we need a corner. I was really into Jahdae Barron out of Texas. And of course, Will Johnson of Michigan. And, you know, now you look in the corner, it's just crazy. You know, and then we cut Cam Smith, which, I mean, okay, you know, what difference does it make? But, you know, this defense is a lot worse. So, yeah, no, I think Curtis is absolutely right. Yeah, again, like I was saying earlier, at least the way they played against the Jets, you go, okay, yeah, Carolina's a winnable game. It should be. But it should give you cause to pause. You know, this team could absolutely, you know, all of a sudden they make Bryce Young look like, you know, Russell Wilson in Seattle, you know, and then we're like, what the heck was that? You know? So yeah, no, I don't trust this team like I did 2 years ago. That's what it is.
And Bryce Young can run a little bit too. He's mobile. He can run. So we're going to be faced with another mobile quarterback. Of course, he's no Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
Peyton Manning could run on this defense right now. I mean, I mean, you put Peyton Manning could look like Steve Young. I mean, it's like it's what it is.
Yeah,
like
you're probably right. You're probably right. Sammy, what's your take? How do you think we're gonna overcome this game against the Panthers? You think we're gonna be running the same type of scheme that we ran against the Jets, or do you think it's you're on mute, Sammy? You're on mute.
Steve is here apparently. I expect basically the same thing of the last couple of weeks: run more and throw less. Because what I've been reading is basically that the strength of the Carolina Panthers defense is more in the passing defense than the running defense. So I expect the Dolphins to basically run the ball more. We have to wait and see for a second win in a row. Darren Waller can provide a, you know, as they mentioned that the Dolphins had not had this season because I have to confess, I wasn't a big fan of the acquisition. I didn't have great expectations, but it gave it a completely different dimension. The guy looked towering over everybody else. He looked so big. He looked athletic. And, you know, if that opens the end zone, the Dolphins have a chance to keep that. I think that's the third or fourth best red zone offense in the NFL. That's surprising. The problem is that they don't get to the red zone as often as they used to. But if they get in the red zone with Darren Waller, they have a better chance to score. So I don't expect the Dolphins to blow the Panthers out of the water, but I sure expect them to win with a running attack and try to control the game.
Yeah, and you spoke of Darren Waller, and Darren Waller, I think he mentioned in a press conference today or some type of interview he's having, I don't remember, but he expects to get more of a snap count. I think he only had 16 or 17 snaps in the Jets game, so his snap count is supposed to go up a little bit. I think they were just kind of testing the waters with him and his injury, and you know if he could perform, and he definitely. No, did he catch 6-7 passes? Did he, you know, have 100 something? No, but he did what is even better, which was what counts, is he caught 2 touchdown passes, right? I don't care if he has 3 yards. If he caught 2 touchdown passes, he was an asset to the team.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so let's get on to
well,
So everybody's in it.
One point. Carolina is
ahead.
ranked 23rd in run defense. Wallace and Rosenbaum, boom, is no good. Jones, Wharton, Scorton. This is the worst front five that I've seen in a long time. Brown is a stud. If we can't run on these guys, forget about it. And I'm not talking like what we saw this week with it. This week, we had 3.9 yards per carry. We averaged 3.18 yards after contact. So we averaged over the whole game. 2 is in there a little bit for a few yards, but not a big factor. So we averaged 0.70 yards before contact. A lot of the stuff you saw was from guys finding their way. If we can't run on this team, forget about it. It will be a grisly time going forward. We should be able to run theoretically. You got Paul, you got Brewer. Borum's a big guy who can kind of move people. Sometimes Jonah figures it out. But, Julian Hill's finally, he's had his 2 or 3 best games of his career.
Yeah.
And you got, Westbrook Hines, Akine, who's a good blocker for a receiver. If we can't run on it, we're going to have much harder time passing when you look at their cover group besides the safeties. But I don't know how much we're going to test them. So if we don't run and we don't run successfully, oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's not going to be good at all going forward for sure.
Well, I think we should.
Yeah, I agree. I think so we're all in agreement. We should be Carolina. I don't know how convincingly we beat them, but we should beat them for sure. So moving on, let's go on. And Curtis, I know you have a list. You have the list of the teams that we are
to lose list from Sammy's show last night.
But you have the list moving forward, the schedule. So let's go. Let's kind of just briefly go over that real quickly. So we're in agreement. We should beat the Carolina Panthers this coming
they're
week.
Bottom 10 in both passing and rushing. And I think if you got an offense that bad, it will offset how bad we are. And I think, we should, and because their defense isn't that good. So I think that's a win.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Let's go on. Let's go on moving forward. We play Carolina. Who do we play next?
Chargers.
You got the list. All right. So we play the Chargers next, and that's going to be in Hard Rock Stadium. As you said,
their defense is very good, and they play zone, which is hard for us.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Jets ran like I forgot what the percentage, like 30 or 40% man, and they blitzed 35%. It's almost like they want to tank. So, teams that play zone and after you with the front four and have somewhat of an offense, it's dangerous for us. Then we're going to be without Alt. They're out. What's his face? Slater, who's out. So they've got some issues on that front. But, I like Herbert to be able to make something. That defense is ferocious. I still think it will be closer without Alt, and he's got a high ankle sprain, so I think he's going to be out. But I think it's a lean towards a loss.
Yeah. All right. Let's go with Sammy. What do you think? You think we got a good chance against the Chargers at home? And I don't remember. Is that going to be a night game or is that
no 1 p.m. 1 p.m. 1 p.m.
1
I'll
p.m.
be there.
Game. Okay.
I'll be there.
I'll back that in.
I'll be there.
Good. Congrats, brother.
I'm trying for that game. I'm trying for fun week for fun weekend. I was hoping to see Bobby, but Bobby has another trip the way before, so I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna see. If he stands that, I'm still waiting for if he go down to Miami, but I'll be there. The Chargers are kind of weird because they're playing tough, they're playing hard. Herbert looked well the first 2 weeks, but against the Giants, he pooped the bed because I had a chance to saw that game, most of that game, and he didn't look like the quarterback he can be sometimes. So they're a complicated team. I since I'm crazy and I like to, Bobby knows this. I like to go uh, crazy with things. I said I predicted that before last night's game that the Dolphins. Last Monday's night's game that the Dolphins are going to be 4-4 before everything is over. So they had to win 3 over the next 4. But I'm not so sure the Chargers are the one who's going to win. I deeply believe they have a better chance to beat Atlanta than they beat the Chargers, to be honest. But anything can happen. If they can find a way to run the ball against the Chargers, which is not going to be easy either, they find a way to, I don't know, we know that maybe the heat, the humidity to the Chargers is rough. It's October. It's not as hard, but that's cool breeze of California is not the same as going to the humidity of Miami. So you never know. But
that's true.
That's not necessarily the game I expect them to win, to go 4-4. But I still do believe they have a chance. But that's not going to be a very easy game. I'm confident beating the Panthers, but not as confident beating the Chargers.
Okay, so you say 50-50 against the Chargers, 50-50 chance?
Right now, I have to wait and see how the offense works after losing Tyreek to make my mind. So I will have to say 51-49 Chargers just because the uncertainty that we have right now. So I have to be honest, I don't feel as good right now. But maybe after Sunday, if they win and find a way to build the ball, I feel better. But right now, I still, if I had to go 51-49 the Chargers just because of the fact that we don't know how the offense is going to work without Tyreek.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point.
Sammy, you want to? DSG says if Sammy has Carolina's Fan of the Year on the show as a guest, we're screwed for tomorrow. If you have the Fan of the Year,
listen, you try to do it, and then they say yes, and then they cancel. They say yes, and then they cancel because when you have a good team on the skate, they're feeling good about themselves, right? With the Buffalo fan that come to the show, but that night we had the pregame because when they have a team that's winning, everybody wants to go to the show and say, yeah, we're winning. But when you don't have a good team, you don't want to go to the show and say, well, my team sucks, Same as we, because if we're 1-3 and we're gonna bring someone a 4-0 team, okay, tell us why we suck, brother. So yeah, it's not easy. So, we're not gonna have a Carolina fan tomorrow. We're gonna have a friend Rainy just because it's not as easy to find a Carolina fans who wants to gloat about the Panthers right now.
That's funny.
So you're more safe, DSG. You could go ahead. Sammy's letting you know now. If you want to bet money on Miami, you could do it. Don't worry, it's a guaranteed win. We will not have Carolina's Fan of the Year on Fins Talk Plus. Fins TV Plus. No,
Bobby, good.
Yeah, the Chargers game. I'm going to tell you, my gut feeling is Chargers. That's where I sit right there. Like I feel good about Carolina because it's Carolina. When I think of the Chargers, I think of Herbert's arm. I think of the receivers. I think of their offense. I think how our defensive secondary they're not going to be able to put pressure on Herbert. Herbert is more, we go, well, maybe Bryce Young could be athletic. We know what Herbert can do with his legs. We know what he can do. We know damn well what he can do with his arm. Miami's defense can hold Carolina enough for Miami's offense to score that 24 to 27 points. I don't know if Miami's defense could hold the Chargers offense enough for Miami's offense to catch up. So right now, my gut feeling is Chargers. Carolina and Miami beats Carolina, and then it's the Chargers beat Miami. And I hate that for everyone traveling and all that, but it's still an experience. It's an experience. If you get to go to fan club weekend, you go. Trust me, win, lose or draw, you're gonna have an amazing time. Now, as Sammy said, if Miami comes out and dominates or has a great game or a winning game plan, where we're not just saying, hey, did Carolina lose this game or did Miami win it? If we're out of here, go, damn man, hey, you know what? Yeah, we know Carolina's a bad team, but damn, that was a very good game by Miami. Maybe just maybe Miami comes out and surprises the Chargers, and then we're having a different conversation. That's when we'll really start having a real conversation about where this team may be going. But right now, no, I don't see that as a win right now.
Yeah, you made a good point. Carolina, another bad team without Tyreek, probably going to be a win. Chargers, not a bad team, good team without Tyreek. That might be a loss. Curtis, next on the list.
Cleveland's intriguing. they've got Collins, they got Garrett who are playing well, McGuire's, they got Bush slushing into two good linebackers, and they got Jerome Baker and two Delpit and Hickman, both are good safeties. Ward's playing really poor. I don't know exactly why. Newsom the second's not bad, not a great nickel. But then on offense, they really don't have a receiver. Judy's has not been himself. The offensive line is not what it used to be. Although they signed Cam Robinson, they traded for him. He's not great, but he can uplift maybe one of the sides. But they're going with the rookie Gabriel and Judkins. So, I mean, we should beat them, but we're in their place. They've got a pretty ferocious front. I just don't know if they can. I mean, we got such a terrible offense. I don't know how to call it because we're so mercurial, and that's a big unknown. He's a rookie. He's got to wet the bed with all those blitzes. I mean, I guess we could lose, but if we do, it's like somebody put us out of our misery. I mean, we should beat them just given the fact that two was going against Gabriel. And I think our offensive line sort of in some ways is a semblance to them. But that defense is really ferocious. I think that's going to be a game where you need lots of attempts and trust this crazy defense to handle a rookie reasonably so they could screw it up and we can eventually pound them out. So I'll say win.
Okay. All right. Sammy?
The Browns defense is a really, really good defense. If they had an offense, they could probably win that division. Could you imagine they have a good competent quarterback? Because that defense, Myles Garrett is just a beast. That's a guy I would love for him to be a Dolphin. If you maybe handpick, I want this and this, Myles Garrett would be one of the first players I would love to have it. Yes, Dolphin, because the guy is a mammoth. He's a beast. He's such a great player. So that's, that defense playing really well. But the offense, if you have 5 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. And they basically have 5 quarterbacks. And now they have Gabriel as the quarterback, which is, Shadur Sanders so much talk, and he still cannot make the starting lineup. So they're a mess on offense. But the Dolphins, the last couple of years when they played the Browns, mixed results. It's kind of iffy. But I think the Dolphins can find a way to win the game because the weather is not going to be as cold in Cleveland as last year or maybe the year before. So they have a very good chance to go there and maybe get a win.
Yeah. Good points. Bobby, what say you, buddy?
This one, this is the one, of course, you see Cleveland and you go, that's a win, But when you really look into it or you look at it, it gives you cause to pause. Those are games like I like to push, like, I don't know about that yet. Because, again, you bring up that defense and you bring up that, Myles Garrett and what they can do. And, you think about Miami's offense and but the X factor, you got, and if it was Joe Flacco, I think we could, I would feel a lot better.
We don't know. It's weeks away with this team. They could be flipping Sanders or something.
What's going to happen is maybe Shador Sanders gets in there by that time. Look, I'll tell you what. I like Dylan Gabriel during the draft process. I liked what I saw from him. I think he could be a decent quarterback. I'm not surprised that he is starting over Shador right now. But I think the Browns are a team in a mess right now, and you would hope that they haven't figured it out by then. I'm not comfortable saying it is a for sure win, but I am leaning that way right now that it's a win. But I'm not there to be. I don't feel safe about it. Just like I don't feel safe about Atlanta. Atlanta is a team that looks like that could be like that. That's a whole other thing that looks like that could be the that's it. And then Miami just Atlanta takes it, and you're like, damn, that was bad.
Yeah. I'm with you on the Cleveland game, Bobby. I'm leaning towards the win, but man, that one can go either way, man. And I'm leaning towards the win because of their offense and their rookie quarterback. So I don't know. We'll see. Curtis, we got Atlanta next, right?
Yeah, we got Atlanta. I think it's gonna be a loss.
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
I mean, they're top 10. Look, they've got probably a better offensive line than the Jets. They've got Pitts who can start to learn how to play. London, who's huge. Robinson, who can run the football. Penix is still Penix, but they're 10th in running and 9th in passing. They've got 2 very good safeties, and if we don't have Hill, they can do that cover one, bring that safety in a rob roll, make them do whatever you want. They don't really have cornerbacks. They got one really Diablo is darn good linebacker. They got Walker and Doris. Not much else out there, but I think it could be enough given the fact that if the Jets and Fields, who's pretty incompetent, are able to run the football, I think they'll be out, and it's in their house. The only thing is that, but we don't have Hill, is the turf speeds everything up. So Achane could be a nice X factor, that I think he's going to be the fastest guy on the field with Waddle. So there is that explosive potential. I haven't watched enough of them, but if you're 10th and running and 9th in passing after week 4, given what I've seen on this defense, I'm saying Atlanta.
Sammy?
Atlanta is such a roller coaster team because they look good and they look bad, and they look great and they look disappointing. So by then we might see a completely different team that maybe is firing all cylinders, and we say, "Oh, that's a loss." But right now, I haven't seen enough for them to make me believe that the Dolphins don't have a chance to win that game. So, for my prediction of going 4-4 to work, I had to say they're gonna win. I'm not confident, but it's too early. That the problem is that the Dolphins historically had not played great on domes unless it's in LA. But even in LA, they don't play great. There's something about dome teams that when the Dolphins go to dome teams, they somehow don't play good. So we have to wait and see. But
it'll be hard for McDaniel to get his calls in too. What? Yes. I can't hear you.
Noise.
I can't hear you.
5
leg 5-yard penalty.
Absolutely, because that's actually what happens. But still, Hyphy stands out. No, his life. But it's early. But that game by then, which Michael Phoenix. I'm sorry, Michael Phoenix is basically a disappointment for me because there's so many fans that thought after year 1 he was such a sure thing, and he struggled at times. So he was benched a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have to wait and see. It's not like Kirk Cousins is gonna retake that starting job, but could you imagine if Kirk Cousins was back in 2 and he's in the game? The media will be crazy, going, he has to go out, but nobody's taking shots at Michael Phoenix right now. That only happens in Miami. But we have to wait and see by then who's the quarterback. But I expect Michael Phoenix to retain the job. But the fact that he was pulled out during a game, that tells you a lot that that offense is not working the way it should be by week 3 or 4.
Right. So you're saying 50-50 on this one?
Yeah, that's 50-50 because I have not seen enough from them to maybe believe that they can basically beat the Dolphins. And again, we don't know how the Dolphins is going to be playing by then.
Yeah, true. Excuse me. Bobby, what say you?
Yeah, like I said, this one I don't feel good about. I think I understand everything Sammy has said. And it's true because we just don't know. We saw we saw what we saw with the Jets, and that was a win. Again, that's beating the Jets with that game plan, the way they played. You're supposed to win those games, and you did beat a bad team, and could that carry over against a team like Atlanta with you got these young pieces? Now, I totally forgot their backup QB is Kirk Cousins, right? Is that right?
Yeah, we could end up
correct.
him.
I mean, so
correct.
That's the problem. We don't know.
That's the thing, we don't know. And so, but again, I go back to Miami's defense. I know, first off, shout out to Brett Lagasse, co-host on Overtime, one of the OGs on FTSN, still part of the family here at FTSN, but I know busy life and all that whatnot. Got to get him back on here one of these days. Maybe we'll get him on Finstock Day on Saturday just to discuss it. But he said here, paying this quarterback, talking about all this money, and we're questioning if we're going to win these games. Look, I'm not a Tuanon or Tuanier or Musketeer or whatever you want to call me. I'm none of those. But this is bigger than the quarterback. Let's be real. I mean, having a guy who you plug in any other quarterback you want to plug in, and maybe we have a better chance to win, but that's not going to fix your defense. That's not going to get better play calling. The play calling looked better on Monday Night Football, but we were playing against the Jets, with a rookie coach, and they're just garbage. So it's like, yeah, if we had a stable court, maybe we'd be just better, but would it be enough? No, this team has a whole plethora of issues that make you question, are they going to win this? Because every time I'm looking at it, I'm not thinking about Tua when I'm looking at these games. I'm thinking about our defense. I'm thinking about how Michael Penix, if he's starting, does he run all over our defense? What does the Bijan Robinson do to our defense? What does Shador Sanders do to our defense running? We know what he is. I didn't see anything. I wasn't surprised that he dropped in the draft. But again, what would he do to our defense? Atlanta's weapons. Kyle Pitts, we know. Kyle Pitts hasn't lived up to it. But I think Kyle Pitts could eat against Miami's defense. That's what I keep thinking about when I'm looking at these. I mean, what do you want? Let's put Kirk Cousins on Miami's offense right now, and I like Kirk Cousins. I'd be okay with that. But let's do that. Does that guarantee a win against Baltimore with Miami's defense? You know what I'm saying? So I understand that point, but at the same time, this is way bigger than Tua Tagovailoa. Way bigger. So just 100%. Throwing that point across.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yes, sir.
I agree. Yes, Sammy.
Steve Molloy, you're muted.
Steve, stop it.
Oh,
I'm not Tua. I'm not a Tua. I'm a Tua believer. I've always been a Tua believer, and I don't want to say that Tua. I know all his faults. In my list of the problems we have right now, Tua is not top 5. If you ask me, right as of right now, after the 2 weeks in a row, Tua is not in my top 5 problems. The problem is, as Steve so many times has spoken so well about it. The problem is Tua is not the quarterback that can overcome the other 5 things that are on top of him. That's the problem. Tua is good enough to win. Tua, if everything's well, can lead us to a Super Bowl. I have no doubt about it, with a better offensive line, a better play calling, more of that wide receivers that can probably are not 5'9" everywhere, But Tua is not necessarily, and that's had to accept that by now. That's the truth. Tua is not the quarterback that can basically carry the team on his back. And, if we have a deficit on defense, he can take. So that happens. If Dan Marino was playing this era, Dolphins fans would ask him to trade him too. Because if you lose at the win and loss of Dan Marino in the last 10 years, Dan Marino didn't have had a lot of bad games, had a lot of losing in the last 10 years. So this family was selling to trade Dan Marino, and don't should almost trade to the Raiders if you know what I mean. So that would happen in any era. But that's the problem with Tua. Tua is not necessarily the problem, but he's not great enough to be the solution. And that's the problem. On that note, everybody wants to, start over, try send to us somewhere else, and I'm gonna stick to my guns. I think, but I probably said this to Bobby before. The Dolphins don't have to trade Tua. Don't have to move away from Tua. They probably can't do it for another season. Look at the blueprint. The Chiefs with Alex Smith drafted Patrick Mahomes and stayed with Alex Smith 1 more year. So did the Packers when they drafted Jordan Love, even Aaron Rodgers, even the Dolphins. We went to the Super Bowl with David Woolley. They drafted Dan Marino. So you can find a quarterback anywhere you want in the draft if you're really committed to it, and you don't have to eliminate your star quarterback until the other one is ready. So it's easy for everybody to blame Tua right now because, of course, he's the quarterback. He should be good enough to lift the offense to overcome any deficit. But if you ask me, right now, Tua is not the problem. This is not the solution necessarily, but he's not. That we have so many different problems with the defense, with the offensive line, with the lack of wide receivers right now, with the play calling, with my Daniel's little chip. So many other problems. And for me, Tua is not necessarily the number 1, not even top 5 problem as of right now.
Yeah, you make some good points.
Let me add, sure. I just want to add 2 points in. I saw Brett say Tua is responsible for most of the pressures. You actually, PFF keeps QB driven pressures. He's given up 4 this year. Justin Herbert's given up 12, Mahomes 10, Jordan Love 10. Daniel Jones 7, Lamar Jackson 15. So all the pressures that he's had this year, which were quite a number, he's only given up 4. So I think he's got his flaws, but that is statistically not one of them. But another thing, we're $58 million this year in dead money. $58 million. That's like 20%, 7% of the cap. That's, I don't know. I'm just, I'm quoting what they say there. They get paid a lot of money to do it. So I don't know.
22.6%.
So $58 million is 26, 27% of the cap. And next year with $33 million. So, whatever you say about Tua's salary, which I wasn't happy about, I thought they should have played him. I said it. I was like, I understand because they're all bound up into him. Yeah. But they got $58 million in dead money. That's insane. That any other team, that's a tank season. And you set up for 33 more next year. This whole team has been built by an absolute idiot. Chubb, a whole draft pick on Tua and 2 first-round picks on Waddle when the league's moving to pass balance. Chris Greer is terrible. Second and third for Eichenberg. Second and third for Jonah, who might turn out good, but he's terrible this year. Third for Dieter. Second for Rosen. Jackson in the first. Cam Smith, who just got cut, who tacked on another $5 or $6 million in the second round. Tyndall easy over Zach Tom. There is nothing on this roster of the magnitude of screwing us in the tailpipe with the biggest banana possible and no lube than Chris Greer. No one. There's nothing. And whatever you don't like underneath, he's the thing that signed everything. He's the guy that signed all the checks. So at the bottom line, whatever you don't like underneath, even when you add this gruesome grizzly, it made Hill's knee look like a sprained ankle, his resume. So Chris Greer is the catalyst for disaster, in my opinion. So I don't know. That was my rant. I needed one rant before I got out of here.
Tell us how you really feel.
I was holding back.
And what's going to be the number if they have to go Tyreek right now? Because that probably is going to be another cap of that money. So that's probably
yes. No, it's $16 million. So we'll probably be at $50 million next year. And we're negative 14 right now with 3 million carries. So generally speaking, without the cap increase, we're 11 million. So we'll be plus 9 million without cutting guys and 59 in dead or 50 in dead.
Wow.
Welcome.
Wow,
I said 2026 is 2019 all over again. Back to the future. And that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. And speaking of Chris Greer, he just signed Cedric Wilson, and he just had a procedure on his knee. So he's hurt.
For a second, I thought you were going to say he's
hurt. Who's hurt?
I'm like, what?
Cedric Wilson. We just signed him back.
Yeah, he's on. He's off. Yeah,
off the
putting it back together
from the Saints, and he's hurt, and he hasn't even played one game for us yet.
He's perfect.
He fits right in with this team, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
crazy.
Saying. It's nuts, man. That should be a fireable offense right there. That alone. But anyway.
Yeah, I just looked up on PFF. If you cut Tyreek pre-June, it's 28 dead and 23 in savings. So it would be actually 61 in dead total, but you would get 23. But so you're losing, putting 28 more dead on it. If you do a post-June, it's way better. Post-June, it would be 16 dead and then 36 made. But then you wouldn't be able to spend anything on free. You would be restricted during your free agency. So you'd have to do a lot of maneuverings.
Yeah, restructuring and all that, which that's what they love to do. The what does it say it on there now, Curtis, that you see it? And because I know there's a hit either way, but because we know with the injury his value is totally dropped. But would it be a better saving if you traded him you're gonna trade him below value, but would it be a better savings?
It would still be 28, 23 pre-June.
Okay.
And then it'd be the same thing. Hold on a second. Pre-June, same thing. And then trade post-June, same thing. Doesn't change it.
So the cut would be the way to go.
It's going to be
possibly.
about 16 million
Okay.
if post-June.
All right. But since you had it, I was like, nah, I better ask
No,
that now.
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's good for me to know. I didn't know that.
But I would say like Tyreek being moved is more likely than Tua being moved. And I think the scenario that Sammy brought up with the different examples with the Kansas City Chiefs, with Alex Smith and Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, whatever those different, that's all legitimate. That is, that's why like the best case scenario, and I know some fans don't want to hear that, would be Miami wanted to make a change at quarterback. You do have to, at least for a year, do that, because you don't want to push a quarterback, rush this quarterback. You draft a guy, you rush him, and then he gets butchered out there. Don't do that. If the plan is to do it, then you know what? Hey, you got to for at least another year. He's your preemptive starter. He's your bridge. And then if he has a strong year with a new coach and whatever, you trade him high value, and then you push up your rookie. Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. That's what I was going. So Sammy's answer. That's the game plan I would follow. Going if Miami totally falls off the wheels come off this year, and they fire everybody. Yeah, there's no changing Tua unless Miami just says the new coach goes, I can't work with this kid, and he demands a trade. Other than that, you roll into next season with Tua your quarterback, and you still draft a guy. Whether that's there's a lot of good guys coming out this draft, first, second round area that you could play with. So
yeah, I would. That's what I would follow. I definitely would, draft another quarterback, have him sit behind if Tua is still healthy, right? Because we don't know. He's still a lot of games left, so we know his history. But if he was to make it through the year and has, solid year or whatnot, and then, I would draft a quarterback and then have him sit behind Tua for a year. I mean, can't be any worse than what it is now, right?
Yeah, you can't. If you cut him even post-June,
it's a lot of money.
It's 67 dead and minus 11 million.
Yeah, there's no point to that right now.
It's not. He's not going anywhere unless it's a trade to 2027.
Yeah, and that's what Brett was saying right here. He's saying you trade to it and you get picks and save money.
That's why you got to hope he plays well and stays healthy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why, legitimately, people they ask, "Oh, well, what if Tua goes here and he's better?" More than likely, that could be the case. He could go somewhere else and be successful. My ceiling, and Brett could answer that or talk about that because I was on with him back in but my ceiling on him, and just respectfully, it's not a knock. When I watch it, was Chad Pennington. Accurate, not the strongest arm, gets the ball where it needs to be. That's where it was. That was my comp, not my ceiling. But you could win with that, but everything else has to work out. You look at Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill, I mean, that had to happen. Tannehill wasn't going to do what he did in Tennessee in Miami. He needed a fresh start. He went to Tennessee and they helped each other and they got to the Super League, played in the AFC Championship. Sometimes a new situation is better for all parties. But if Miami ends up saying, okay, we're getting rid of McDaniel, Greer, there's a new regime, maybe, just maybe, even though Miami draft, the coach is going to want his quarterback, hey, we're going to start Tua because we have him. Just like Sean Payton had Russ Wilson and whatever, you start your guy, but hopefully that guy too has a better year. That's what you want. You want Tua to be successful, even if you have a rookie quarterback, and you're like, man, but I want to see the rookie. No, let this be. If Tua has a killer year with a rookie quarterback, first off, that's great for Miami. That means we're winning, but also his value is skyrocketing. Then when you can free yourself of him, you got a better draft picks and you save money. And then you got your heir apparent who comes in and does it.
Oh, if you could somehow trade him, you save 43 and only have 13 dead.
You see? So
he's actually a tradable contract. You could eat a little bit, get a little bit, and move off him. If you trade is extremely feasible and beneficial for the Dolphins. There's a lot of maneuverability there.
Well,
see, Brett, we're still here, brother.
Here's the thing, and that might play out because if McDaniel gets fired, I don't think Tua's going to be here. If McDaniel gets fired, whether it be mid-season or at the end of the year,
it depends on how aggressive. Like if the new GM and coach, if there is a new GM, and God willing there is, I think Greer would move, and he'll probably be assigned to some advisor role with Ross. But if we do have a new GM and a coach, and that coach just says, "Hey, man, I can't work with him,"
like Alaska or the North Pole.
Let's sign him somewhere over there. We'll Skype, bro.
Pluto. The Pluto division of the Dolphins.
That's funny. Oh, geez. Hey, guys, we kind of went into a different direction that we started, but that's
right.
okay. This was fun, man. This was really fun. And I appreciate you guys coming on tonight, man.
Great time.
I had a blast, man. We'll have to do this again. Really
sir.
good conversation. I wish we would have gone through the whole smear of the team.
We're gonna win everything after that. Once Baltimore hits, we go undefeated, baby.
There we go. We're
heard it here.
We're pushing hopium on this channel tonight, man. That's what we're pushing. But hey, thanks, guys. And Curtis, can you tell everybody where they can find you again?
Yeah, they can find me with George on Finn's Faithful 10:30s Saturdays, and then I do a thing on YouTube on Ace Per Head with Curtis. And that's it. I try to do the Twitter thing, but that fries my brain, man. I think I'm not Gen Z enough for it. I'm trying though. So those are the two places you can find me. Gotcha.
Sammy, thanks for coming on tonight, man. You made some great points, man. Hey, and I still like you, man. You're still I know you're a 2 in the air, but that's okay. I still like you.
I'm not a 2 in the air. I'm a believer.
Don't worry, I get it too, Sammy, these days.
I'm only kidding, brother. I'm only kidding. But where can they find you, man? You're on mute again. You muted yourself.
Steve, stop it, Steve. I want to thank Steve just for the fact he moved the shows on Wednesdays and let me alone on Tuesdays at 8. Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it. Please stay on Wednesdays at 8. I appreciate that. But
hey, I might do that.
I would love that because I have such a great Steve for you. So I even if we're at the same time, I always retweet you. I go back and watch your show. You know how much respect I have for you. We talked about it before. Fins TV at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays with the Fins TV crew. And, of course, Fins TV Plus on FTN Sense on Thursday with Eddie Chapel and tomorrow with Adrian Rainey.
Sounds great, man. And you're too kind, Sammy. You're too kind.
Good guy.
Bobby, where can they find you at, man? I know you're on the Fins Talk Sports Network. But what?
That's it.
At home,
working on 8 shows.
At home,
plus. It's like we got a lot of shows.
Cheap cooking bottle washer.
I work all day, get home.
Wow.
I say hi to my kids. I'll be right back. Bam, 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 bam. Then do the dad thing. Coach basketball's coming up soon. I'm gonna be coaching my son's basketball teams. I got a draft the day after. That's what really. I mean. There was other stuff, but that was where like the nail in the coffin for me with Fan Club Weekend was the day after that game is the draft for my son's basketball league. So, that was fun last year. It was different because, you got to do these little sticks and, you watch these kids and they're kids, but you know which ones suck, which ones. So you're looking at it, you're like, on that, you cross out that number there and then you go the check mark. So then like, you got like the 5th pick and you're like, I got this kid right here. No one saw this kid. And all of a sudden that kick out took number 1. You're like, so that's coming up. But, yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Bobby Finstalk. I think the same with the socials. I think Instagram and then here on the channel. I mean, I could pop up mostly anywhere, but Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time, noon, I am on Finstalk Today. I have different rotating hosts. Sammy's been on there. Steve's been there. Of course, Finstanza. Get Brett back eventually. Curtis, whenever you're free, I'd love to get you on there. Talk with you, anytime, brother. Get some one-on-one. Post-game, pre-game. I won't be on post-game or pre-game this weekend, so Sammy's getting a little bit of a break.
I remember
are you off?
I told you,
you're off.
I'm off. Eddie Chapo is going to be filling it for me on.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. Okay, well, I knew you were off, so I'm sorry. But there you go. So there you go. There it is. All right. Well, now you got some trouble. But anyway, appreciate being on here. I really love hanging out with you, Steve, of course. A lot of respect. Sammy, brother, appreciate you. And Curtis, again, honored to be on here with you for the first time. Man.
Nice to meet you, brother. And
yes, sir.
Guys are awesome.
And I want to thank everybody that was came over here and watched the show tonight and listened to it, watched it, however you did it. I see DSG's in there. Britt made a lot of comments. Thank you, brother. We had Adrian in here from the Rainy Day podcast. That's another good podcast. Y'all can go over there and check that one out. And there's some other folks that came in here. I just appreciate all of you coming in here, making the comments and everything. So make sure you hit that like.
Tell Steve how much you love him being on Wednesday night so he can move the show to Wednesday nights.
I will take that in consideration. I definitely will do that. But again, thanks everybody that was in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, if you were new to the channel tonight or whatnot, and you like the content, please hit that subscribe button, share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. And I keep forgetting to say this, but we do have super chats on here. So if you're inclined to donate to the channel, we'd love that as well, if you like the content. So until next time, guys, God bless. And remember, Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.